Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. We have not all from Europe here today, which is nice. And thanks for joining. We're gonna introduce mostly the new features that are available on IcySea. So the IcySea is our main application from Drift+Noise, and we'll be presenting today with myself and Jakob. Jakob is quite new. Maybe you want to just give a quick introduction of yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Ali. Hi, everyone. I'm Jakob. As Ali said, I'm fairly new to Drift+Noise. I started in May this year, but I also have a background in sea ice physics, much like Lasse, our boss at Drift+Noise. So yeah, I've been into ice and I know what I'm talking about, same as Ali. So yeah, I hope we can give you some insights into IcySea today. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask any one of us.
Yes. So yeah, just some kind of basic functions. So this is recorded, but it's just the presentations that will be shared afterwards. And so if you could just mute yourself during this first part. If you have a spontaneous question, there's a raise hand function at the bottom of the screen, or you can just unmute yourself and interrupt us without a problem, or you can write in the chat. So thanks. So just a quick overview. So I'll just give an introduction of our team at Drift+Noise and how we got to IcySea. And then Jakob will give a live demo of IcySea, mostly looking over the new features that we've included recently. Then we'll go over the future navigational tools and data layers that we are planning to release soon, and the future ones that would be nice to have in the app. So that will be part of the discussion, as we really like to know what you, our users, would like to see in this ice information app. So yeah, here's the team at Drift+Noise. We've grown quite a lot, actually, since I started. When I started, we were 5. Now we're 10, which is really nice. So we're a group of software developers. We also do a lot of consulting, expedition, and navigation support. So this is mostly through IcySea. And then we're also supporting research and also doing our own research, taking part in research groups projects. So at Drift+Noise, it started that there was a lack of ice information in polar regions. So like how could we bring that? How could we support, for example, the research community, fisheries, expedition, cruise operators, and general shipping, so cargo or bulk shipping, especially as over the past decade or so, there's been an increase of activity in the Arctic. So this is just a video where there's Svalbard in the middle, and you have the ice concentration every month. And in green is the number of fishing vessels, and in yellow, the expedition passenger vessels. So it's just all the tracks of all the ships of those two categories over a few years. So it's from 2012 to 2019. So just to get an idea that there is a lot of activity happening in the Arctic. So how could we support this community? It started really with so this is a picture that was taken by our boss Lasse, realizing that there was no ice information on the navigation screen. And so how could we improve it, and why is this the situation? So we know there's a lot of challenges in the field regarding the access of ice information. So there's all these points, like organizing the data, handling the data, the communication, like the internet connection that you have on board, how do you actually access it, the low bandwidth. It's a hassle to go to the different websites to access the open source data you have that is available. It's not very practical. The age of the data is always a struggle to know how old it is, how do you get the most recent up-to-date data, integrate it maybe in the ship's navigation and so on. So this is the thing, there is a lot of data. You have the weather data, the satellite images that are available, ice charts, sea ice models, forecasts. Maybe you would also like the vessel traffic data as AIS, the age of the ice data that's available, ice thickness, and so on. So of course, on the ship, So here's an example of Polarstern. So it's just the navigation you'd have with a ship radar. So this is a starting point A, and with the ship radar, you would have the information to navigate this, to choose your path. So here's an example of path decision just with the ship radar on the bridge. And this would be the final route that was chosen, but having the whole image, you could actually see that there was a more efficient route available. So this is why we want to provide this information, make it accessible for you. And so, yeah, so this is where IcySea, having all this data and combining it into one application and having actionable. So really having the choice of all this information in one source. And yep, there we have a little introduction video of IcySea and its goals.
To navigate changeable icy waters, you constantly need to know fastest and most fuel-efficient route. That's not easy when ice information is spread across the internet and you have a poor internet connection. So what if you could display sea ice on a map in near real time as simply as this? With IcySea, all the actionable information you need is provided in a single map-based display. So you can take the safest, most direct route to save costs and time to avoid ice entirely, or to find the best route through the ice with an ice-breaking vessel. Here's how easy it is with IcySea. Its map-based interface quickly shows you a variety of high-resolution sea ice information, regularly updated and with 24/7 reliability. Click on the map to get up-to-date satellite imagery, or zoom in to high-resolution images for more detail, even with a low-bandwidth connection. IcySea is the one-stop solution for ice information on board. Take a free trial and find the clearest way ahead.
Okay. So now Jakob will give you live demonstration of IcySea and introduce what it is and also the new features, which I think most of you are interested in. So I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay. I thought I'd start with installing it actually, because we had a few people that had problems installing. So I use Chrome because it has sort of the easiest option to install the app on your browser window or the desktop. So I use my access token, load and run IcySea. And then I already get information here. I could either click on the 3 dots here where it says install IcySea, or in that case, there's even a direct button to do that. So I install it, and now I have it on my computer. I can put it in my toolbar down at the bottom, sort of like this. And now I don't have to go onto the web browser anymore, but I have the app on the computer. I can just open and use it without having to go through a browser right now. So you've probably seen what IcySea looks like when you open it. The map that we have right now, we have a different, you can see those little tiles. This is where most of the data, especially the satellite, the radar data is displayed. And we have our different layers up in the top right corner. So we have ice concentration. This is the most recent one now from today, from this morning, actually. I can see if there's an update. Nope, that's the most up-to-date one. We have this is the 6 kilometer resolution, but we also have the 3 kilometer resolution here, sort of for more detailed information on, for example, the marginal ice zone. And as for all the layers, there's the question mark here, which allows you to get extra information on the data set and how to interpret the data that you can see, which is really, yeah, helpful in the field as well. Second thing that we have is the ice drift forecast. And you might know that this is sort of limited for the area north and west of Svalbard. But we're really close to releasing the new version, a new update of IcySea, which actually provides ice drift forecast for the entire Arctic. So this is something, yeah, it's probably going to come out within the next few weeks. So this is one of the new features that we have. Again, we have the sort of information box with everything you need to know about the data set and where it comes from. And then finally, we have the radar images. I'm going to zoom in now. Or maybe before we go into the radar image, I can show you one other new feature. If you go to the settings button here and click on it, it tells you what regions are free for you to use. And then there's another checkbox here, show new data products, which are not yet operational. I'm really happy to have that here from König und Partner. They're actually here today. So if I click this now, you can see that there a fourth data layer appeared here, which is a classified Sentinel-3 image. And I'm just going to load that here. This is not available for every region in the Arctic right now, but whenever a new image comes in, it gets integrated into IcySea. So whenever you're interested in seeing whether there's an image in the area that you're working in, you can just refresh it here. This is really colorful. You can see that here. And again, for explanation, there's the information button, which tells you what the different colors that you can see on that image actually mean. So green colors are open water, gray, as it is an optical image, there's clouds in there, and then certain features and different parts of ice. We got young ice, and the red is ice of uncertain thickness, and this is pretty much what you can see in this region here. So there's even individual ice flows that you can see. And if we now go in and load, for example, the low resolution radar image, you can actually see, I'm gonna turn that off and on now, how, you see the open areas with thinner ice between thicker ice flows. And then you can even go for the full resolution, which is even a better image. We can really see individual ice flows and weaker ice areas or even open water. So this is probably something that you all have seen already. One of the really new features that we have is the measurement tool, which was just integrated, I think, with the last update. So if I right-click here, there's the option of measure a distance. And then this is sort of my starting point. And now I can measure, for example, the distance between that one edge of the flow and then maybe the other one. If I double-click here, I get the distance from this point to this point, neatly displayed next to that line. And now I can even keep that measurement in there, add another one, and for example, measure the length of this sort of thinner ice area or open water right next to it. It can also be used, it will stay inside IcySea for now. It can even be used to sort of, get an idea of distances. If you're like with your ship, you're down at Disco Bay and you're interested in, how far away are we from the ice? This is really helpful tool there. You can even draw freely. If I go back to, this is actually something that I've been using when I was at the Alfred Wegener Institute. You're interested in how big are individual flows. So I can, again, right click here, measure distance, and then I use the shift button and then press the left mouse button, and then I can draw freely around this flow and get an idea of how big it is and how long I would have to, drive around it with my ship. Yeah, so this is one of the features. I already mentioned that we're going to include an Arctic-wide ice drift forecast, something that I'm not able to display right now, but this button here gives you the user position. So where you are right now, tell me that I haven't allowed it to do so, but that's something that you can do. And for example, when you're plotting distances and you want to integrate those waypoints, for example, I'm going to go back to my measurement here. So when I'm at Disco Bay and I want to go to the ice edge, I can get the coordinates, and now I can open whichever program I want and just a new one. I can just paste the position, and I can sort of put it in whatever application I need for navigation. So this is also a really, really neat feature there. The great part about IcySea is that while I'm doing all of this, or most of it, it's not connected to the internet. So Ali already talked about it, low bandwidth connection. You don't want to use up all the data that you have. So the only time I actually connect to the internet and download something is when I press the refresh button. And you can actually see that this has changed just now. Ice drift forecast the same. So when I'm offline, no connection, everything that I have in here, my measurements, ice concentration, my tiles here of radar images, everything stays in there. Radar images will always tell you how old they are. These are fairly old right now, 2 days already. But they're updated as soon as a new image comes in. But you always know how old they are. If you want to get rid of those, you press that delete button and they're gone. And now you would have to manually reload them. And this is again when you connect to the internet. Okay. Am I forgetting anything, Ellie? Anything to add here?
Just that you can also export all the data sets if they want to be used.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Feature.
Thank you. So when I have my tiles here, and I actually talked to a colleague of mine today who's going to Antarctica, and he's interested in how the fast ice edge is going to change over the next few weeks. And he's going to, sort of get all those images, even in preparation for the expedition, and then download the data, which is the export map button here. Oh yeah, there it is. So I just downloaded a zip file, which gives me, I'm going to open it here so you can see that, which gives me all the data that I've downloaded inside IcySea to look at. This is the classified image. I got the ice concentration, the Sentinel-1 images. So yeah, you have access to the data that you have in here. So if you reload, you would still have the old data if you downloaded it. Okay, I think that's it from my side so far.
Yeah, and it's also available for Antarctica, just not on all the layers, I believe. Just maybe show.
Again, in the settings option here, you can switch to Antarctica. And then we got ice concentration there and the radar images so far. So I just open it. And as I said, my colleague is going to go here with the fast ice edge. That's what he was interested in. Again, it works exactly the same. Okay.
Great. So I will share my screen again. Is there any maybe urgent question now? Doesn't seem like it. So I will share the presentation again. So yeah, Jakob, did you want to do this part?
Yeah, I can do that. I already did that at the start. So here's again how you can, when you are in your browser, preferably Chrome, there's a few options to download the app so you have it on your computer. Yeah, I don't think we have to spend too much time on this because I already showed that. Next one. This is something that we frequently get, the question, since it's an app that is continuously developed. People ask us if it is ready to use. It's not available on any of the, it's not on App Store or Play Store, because it's an app that you download from the web directly, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it. So to answer that question, is it ready to use? Yes, it is. However, we're obviously continuously, and this is why we have the webinar, for example, asked for feedback from users, what kind of layers they'd be interested in, feedback in general. So although it is ready to use, we're still developing it and sort of adjusting it to the wishes and requirements of the people using it. So yeah, that is one really important thing that we get frequently. And now we can maybe go into the next features that are coming up. Yeah, this is what I've talked about before, the Arctic-wide ice drift forecast, and you can see those little worms on the map here. So there's a lot of drift actually in this area, Southern Nares Strait. Yeah, so this is something that is coming really, really soon. And we will now have this new Arctic-wide product, but still keep the product around Svalbard, which is going to be extended to be an Arctic-wide product as well. So we're actually going to have 2 Arctic-wide products pretty soon. And the advantage of this is that obviously, especially the longer you go into the future, those drift forecasts are somewhat uncertain. And this would, like, having 2 different products would actually give you more confidence in what you see. So if those 2 would agree over like the next 5 days, you could be fairly sure that what you see is what actually is going to happen. And maybe sometimes they disagree, which is then a result of, you know, more uncertainty for that particular point in time. But that would give more confidence in what you can see and get from those ice drift forecasts. Okay, next one, we actually went to the Arctic Circle Assembly last week, 2 weeks ago actually, and had discussions with also the fishing industry. And there's 2 new ocean layers that we're going to include fairly soon. One is the sea surface temperature, which is really interesting when you go into the ice, because even though you can see open water areas, depending on the temperatures, not just in the ocean, but also in the atmosphere, those can freeze up fairly quickly. So having this kind of information is really helpful to see, okay, maybe I should try to get out of the ice as soon as possible, or, you know, maybe I still have some time to do whatever purpose I have to fulfill in that area. Another one is going to be zooplankton concentrations, which is something fairly specific for fishing industry, what they're interested in. But those will be accessible for everyone who's using IcySea. Next one, yes. That's I already showed you that we have this classified Sentinel-3 image in IcySea. But we're also, and Ali said that we're actively involved in research projects, and one of those is the ICE class project, which is focused on classifying radar images. So the radar Sentinel-1 images that I showed you, to have those, and you can see that in the picture on the right side, classified, and just as with the optical image, get information on what kind of ice you are likely to encounter when you go into a certain area. So this is something that we hope to include. And the advantage of having that in a radar image rather than an optical image is obviously that you're not impacted by when it is night or when you have clouds. So this would be available at 24/7 whenever there's an image available. So this is one advantage of having that with the radar image. The next one, please. We already have ice drift forecast in there, and we're going to get the Arctic-wide one in there. But as you all know, ice is a fairly mobile feature, or, well, parameter. And when we went to the endurance expedition in spring, we actually saw how important it is to always have your image sort of move with the situation outside and with your ship. So what we're working on is to get sort of those moving images. So you get a satellite image and then would, based on the drift forecast, move it along so you can actually see where you are relative to the ice that is moving. And this is, yeah, definitely a great advantage rather than, you know, seeing the image and sort of looking at the drift forecast and adjusting the picture in your head. We would like to be able to provide a way of moving the picture as it is moving in reality. So this is something we're working on as well. And this is ultimately going to help us with another tool, which we sort of call global Google Maps like route suggestions. So when you look at the image in the middle, there's different, it's a classified image. So you see different ice types. You got red, it's like obstacles, and then gray, multi-year ice, light blue, first-year ice. And based on the movement of the ice and the ice type that you can see, we would like to provide route suggestions so that ultimately, as you look on the left-hand side, you can say, okay, this is where I want to go. This is where I am. And tell me how long I'm going to take to get there and sort of find me the best possible course through the ice. And this is the FastCast 2 project that we're also involved in right now. I think that is it so far for the features that we are about to implement and work on. And I think with that, I give back to you, Ali.
Yes. Thanks, Jakob, for going over different research projects that we're in and the next things, I mean, not in the nearest future, but next things that we'd like to have on IcySea. But so this webinar was also to hear from you. So we'll have space for a discussion now, just to kind of get it started. Just like to ask this question to you. So which information layer would you like to see next on IcySea? So I prepared a poll for this. So then you can choose which of these three information layers. So the official ice charts, would you like to have them available on IcySea? So I know a lot of captains are familiar with the ice charts, and then it would be easier maybe to compare all these different layers together, or optical images. So to have more optical satellite images, as we do have now the classified Sentinel-3, or more weather forecasts, so maybe temperature or wind or even wave height. Which of those layers would you be more interested to have in IcySea? Well, then if there are no more comments or questions, or if you think someone is interested, I mean, feel free to share our contact with them. So you have our emails here. Stalker@driftnoise.com, that would be for me. And then Jakob is a builder@driftnoise.com, and we'll be happy as well to give you again or your colleagues a quick Zoom meeting, online demonstration of IcySea. So also I invite all of you to register. I think most of you are, which is great, to register here. So just on any browser, as we showed, preferably Chrome, for the IcySea app. And then please share it and test the app. We'll give you a 2-week, for your first registrations, you can test it for 2 weeks. And then we're always happy to hear your feedback if there was something that wasn't maybe easy to find, or if there was anything good or bad, we're really happy to hear back from you.